Good morning, class. Today's lecture, the topic will become clear to you. Whoop, wait a minute. I'm starting my lecture. Who the heck would be calling me now? Gosh, that's obnoxious. Boy, it's 7:45 in the morning. Who could be calling me? None of my friends would call me on my landline. They don't even have the number. God, that's annoying. Should I answer it and just hang up or just let it ring out? So, class, the topic for today's lecture is telemarketing. And I have to confess, I have never done a lecture on telemarketing. And it is a chapter in the direct response textbook, and I rarely even get into the topic. And I've taught the class for a few years now. And it's also arguably, some forms of it definitely are direct marketing, okay? Outbound B2C is direct. I mean, it's measurable, it has results, it's quantifiable, it has offers. Telemarketing is also, I would argue, a medium. It's media type, so it's worth including. I mean, if we're going to discuss direct mail as part of the print family, why shouldn't we also address telemarketing? So my subject, or the theme, I should say, of the presentation is the dark horse. Why do I call telemarketing the dark horse? For those of you who don't know, a dark horse means something that is not well known, that unexpectedly wins. And it does happen in horse racing from time to time, that a horse that nobody really knows much about its background, its origins, it's never really won before, and all of a sudden nobody bets on it except some crazy people who like the name or whatever, and all of a sudden the darn thing comes from the back of the pack, gets out in front and wins the race, and that's referred to as a dark horse. Came from not well known, it's had success or maybe about to have success. And I think those of us with phones, mobile phones and or landlines, although fewer and fewer of us have landlines, know that there is a lot of telemarketing, more and more telemarketing out there. And we also know that we don't have very positive feelings towards it. But as a matter of fact, there are 4 kinds of telemarketing. 3 kinds pretty much every company does. This 4th kind is the one that makes us mad. I'm going to talk about all 4 kinds. And it's a topic that deserves to be looked at and considered, and that you guys need to think about and know about, whether you use all 4 kinds or not in your careers. We're going to explore the dark horse and shed a little light on that topic in this lecture. First, I just want to re-emphasize, or let's just say make the case, that telemarketing qualifies as a media type. So, those of you who have had my Audiences in Media course or are having it now will hopefully remember that I usually start the course by asking the class to define what is a medium. And I ask them not to think about just magazines and the classic definition of the word medium, magazines and newspapers and out-of-home ads. The word medium, where else is it used? And usually pretty much everybody comes up with sizing, right? Small, medium, large, XXX, large, tall. Many people come up with a meat in a restaurant, particularly where medium is in between rare and well done. Or if you like me, black and blue or Pittsburgh style steak, but medium is in between. And here, this picture, usually in every class, one or two people say, well, what about a spiritual medium? And I think there was some TV show, guys, about a medium from, was it Long Island? I'm not sure, but a lot of my members of my class go, oh, that one. I haven't seen it. But a spiritual medium is a person who purports to be in between the world of the living and the world of those who are not living. But in every case, the medium is in between two things. So how does that apply to telemarketing? Well, phone is in between whoever is on one end of it and who's on the other end of it. So in this case, with a couple of smartphones, you're looking at some social media sites, it looks like. But if mobile advertising, in other words, advertising on social media on your cell phone, if that's a medium, and texting is a medium, and sending emails on your cell phone is a medium, and running videos on whatever newsfeed, if those things are all media, then just because the phone is in between whoever's sending the message and whoever's getting the message, I would say that just because the content is audio and a live person talking to another live person, telemarketing, that thing that's, in between the two people, the phone, telemarketing is also a media type. Okay, and hopefully you're all kind of nodding along with me here and agreeing. But the one interesting thing about the telemarketing side, though, is actually typically with the medium, it's one-way, more or less one-way communication. Yes, I can click on ads and things, but I can't really get back to whoever's on the real other side of the medium. Okay, I can't. Yeah, I can get back to the advertiser, but not as a person. I mean, not in real live communication where it goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And with telemarketing, what you've really got is two people communicating who are far apart, presumably, but they're communicating, meaning there's an exchange of information on a real-time basis. So telemarketing is a little different from regular media. And I just want to point out that difference because I think it's important. It's one of the reasons it can be very effective. So telemarketing is really the same as personal sales. It's one person selling or trying to talk to or convince another person to buy something or to do something, right? If they actually get you on the phone and get you to talk, that's what they're trying to do. And even with inbound customer service telemarketing, where you call and complain about something, a service problem you've had with an online vendor, it's two people talking. And yes, you can chat, and companies would like you to chat because it's cheaper for them to pay for someone who's chatting with three different people at the same time. It's a little harder to talk to three people at the same time, right? So chatting is, 3 times less expensive or so than talking. But most of us who really want to get an answer to our question right now from a person, get it settled, want to talk to a person. So there's something special about the dialogue, the persuasion that can go on, the communication that can go on over the phone. And yes, you can talk back to telemarketing. That is a funny joke cartoon, everybody. And why do they always call it dinner? At least they used to. They used to always call it dinner. Now they call all day. Right, everybody? Okay. This one is not meant to be culturally insensitive. I just looked for dumb cartoons just to try to get everybody to have a little smile. I mean, actually, in my media class, I talk about some of the first long distance communication between humans, I show the scene from Lord of the Rings in I think it's the Return of the King, where they light the pyres at the end of the movie from mountaintop to mountaintop to indicate that they're being attacked and that the Great War has started. And so here's another supposed means of early long distance communication. And surveys, by the way, that's another way. That's outbound B2C, business to consumer, but it's not trying to sell you something. It's trying to get information. And lots of companies do that. It's a good way to do research. Telemarketing. Here's this nice young man with nice teeth and a smiley face, and off he goes. So tele is a prefix that interested me, so I kind of knew what it meant, but I was curious to see, because we talk about television and telephones and telegraphs. There are telescopes, and tele or tele. Those of you who are Greek or Greek background could pronounce it better than I can. Although I did live in Athens for almost a year at one point, and I was starting to learn Greek. Parakalo. It means far. So basically, it means reaching over a distance. So telemarketing is marketing over a distance. Okay, it's not face-to-face. It's marketing over a distance via the telephone. Now I'm going to stop. And I have a couple of 2-3 songs that are about phones, mostly ones that you haven't seen before, because there's no point in putting in Call Me Maybe, because I think we all heard that. But these are just fun and intended to sort of get you in the mood of the presentation. And there may be a question or two about them on the quiz. So I'm stopping. I'll pick it up on the other side.